Beautiful. All right, so we're having a great time here. My dear friend Sarah Williams and myself, and this is Lou Martin. And guys, you know what's happening in the world. And Sarah and I have a few theories and a few ideas, and I thought we'd get on and try to bring some hope and some inspiration to everyone. Take it away, Sarah.
Hi, Lou, and hi, everybody. Yeah, you know, Lou and I have been having a great chat, and you know, we've been putting the world to rights a little bit, or not, or whatever it is that we can do, and really exactly trying to put it all into some form of a box so that we can all understand what's happening.
Right.
Just a little. Because you know, we're humans having we're souls having a human experience just like everybody else, and we're still feeling stuff, aren't we, Lou?
Sure, sweetheart. Sure. So let me just give you a little launch pad. So you and I were chatting about the massive shifts of energy that we've been feeling physically. We were both just completely useless and dead to the world yesterday because of whatever was happening energetically. And you're seeing it and feeling it, and Spirit is helping you to see it and feel it in terms of integrating into 4D, and that we're living from that 4D at this point.
Well, I've been, yes, definitely. We were white yesterday, and I know we're not the only ones, Luke, you know, who are, you know, sort of feeling this. And we're very lucky in that we got some information around why we're feeling it, whereas many people have no idea. You know, they're literally being diagnosed with all sorts of horrible things, put into hospitals, you know, put into fear around things. And
right.
If I are feeling fear occasionally, then how do people who haven't yet fully woken up feel? And
that's a big point.
Is really the point.
Yeah.
So that's why I think, you know, one of the reasons that you and I get together occasionally and do these things is to perhaps help to put things into some other perspective, to add maybe some other things into the mix. So
yes. Well, hun, you were I quite agree, and that's such a important place of compassion and humility that you're coming from about that, and that really moves me and is very true. You were mentioning Archangel Michael and an upgrade of the violet flame. Do you want to chat about that as we get into this?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I was echoing Patricia. Rota. What do we? Rota. I never.
Yeah, you're okay. Patricia Coda Robles.
That's the girl.
There we go.
She's lovely.
Yes.
And I on the 8th. I'll just quickly retrace.
Yes.
On the 8th of January, I had a dream, and in that dream, at the end, it was quite hectic, and at the end of the dream there was someone flicked a light switch literally in the dream, and suddenly there was peace, like the best peace that I think I've ever experienced, and it was bliss and joy and absolute oneness. I can't tell you the tranquility. It was just incredible. So from there, they told me, my guides told me, that between the 10th and the 12th of January, that we would be moving into fully as a global consciousness into the 4th dimension, to 4D. Now, 4D for me is about karma, fear, and time. So those three things are the areas that we need to clear our cache, tidy up our stuff, you know, clear our clutter before we step fully into the bliss and joy of the 5th dimension. So I got that in January. And then 2 days ago, or 3 days ago, even less, maybe 2 days ago, the lovely Patricia downloaded one of her vlogs and confirmed all of that, which was great because it means we're all coming from the same place.
Yeah.
Just basically a unity consciousness grid download that we're all getting, or many of us are getting, and it's echoed, you know, through disconnected or unconnected potentially, if that even exists anymore.
Yeah.
You know, right, connection. So, you know, I don't have a chat with Patricia or anything. So, but that came through.
Yeah.
So, with that, for some reason, I've got a low charge on my battery. Can you see me?
No, I just lost your video.
Okay.
I hear you though.
Okay. For some reason, it says I've got low battery, so I am trying to
All
change
right,
that.
take a moment. Well, let me just jump in there while you get sorted. I mean, as Sarah's saying here, so we're big fans of our friend Patricia Cota Robles, and she puts out these 10 to 15-minute video updates every Monday night. And there you're back. The video's back, and yeah. So the last one was about having passed through the 13th gateway or something like this, I believe.
Yep.
The title
It
of it.
was, well, no, the moving into, yes, she did. Yes, she did. Sorry,
That's
distracted.
all right.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah, she was talking about
Definitely
that
not.
gateway, wasn't she? But basically, my feeling on that, and my guidance on that, is that we moved fully into the the next frequency,
Yeah.
fourth dimension.
Yes.
So
Here's sorry, Sarah. Here's the title. She says we have crossed the threshold of the 13th gateway, and like you're saying, this is people can see this in her talk as well. This is a level of vibration that humanity has never been able to uh, experience before. And so with the virus, which we'll get to at some point here, of course, there's this whole, like you're saying about the darkness and karma and
yeah, parents.
yeah, ugliness and pain and sorrow and separation and yada yada yada. All that is just, pardon me, vomited up into our awareness all of a sudden.
Perfect. Yep. Yeah, absolutely perfect. In fact, that analogy, based on our earlier conversation, is just perfect.
Yes.
Totally, all of that. So we were moving into the fourth dimension, and then one of my lovely, I do a meditation to Gaia once a month here, and we in all over the planet with people, planet behind me.
Right.
Are able to some amazing people come along to help us with the meditation and to link in with lots of people. And one of those lovely people came in with the information that between the 5th and the 7th of this month, March, there would be a huge beam of turquoise blue light which hit Hawaii. And that was apparently going to be on between the 5th and the 7th of March. Now, I hadn't realised the date when I was not feeling very good yesterday, and I actually didn't even. Lou and I were just saying we didn't even get dressed, right?
I went outside. I have to tell you the story, honey. I went outside, in my sweats and my hair all, and one of my dear neighbors is there, is like, "Hi, Lou." I'm like, "Ah." Hi.
No, I don't even go out to the postman, because he must, whatever he thinks is none of my business.
Oh, he's lovely. He wouldn't give a second thought, but I felt like, a little silly. That's all.
I know the feeling.
Yes, yes.
While we were not feeling very good yesterday, and not doing anything, I actually went to sleep at about 5:30. And I was woken up at about, I won't go into details, but I was woken up by my dog at 20:20, who was not feeling very well.
Putting it very mildly. Yeah. Extremely
Yeah.
sick, as you said. Bless him.
He was clearing his cache.
Oh man, and everyone else's, by the sound of it.
Bless him.
Yeah.
So then I went back to sleep, not feeling able to eat anything. I am feeling really drawn to drink warm water.
Okay.
No cold water, just lots of warm water at the moment. Put some peppermint drops in there or something, but I can't have anything. And that's unusual for me,
I've got my
Is that
water. It's cold actually. I'm just doing my lemon water, but that's my daily.
I do that every morning.
Yeah.
Every morning without fail, lemon water.
Yeah.
And then again, I woke up at again my beautiful boy, my Teddy, my dog, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
He then woke me up at 2:20 again, and then again at 4:44. Now, I do love these number things because I give them as portals into a different timeline.
Sure. That's, yeah,
Um,
synchronicities, and yeah,
yeah, so we can visualize the best outcomes at those double numbers.
right.
And if we visualize the best possible outcome at that double number, then we can go down the timeline that extends out in front of us,
Hmm.
and we can choose any timeline we want to. We can have many different experiences. I made a few notes. A few different experiences. We're all going to go back to the light, right?
Hmm.
So we're going to go back to the light. We are a fragment of light going back to the light. But there are choices all the time of free will because we're on Gaia here.
Hmm.
So we can go, this route or this route or this one or this one, or there are infinite routes.
Right.
But if we see a 4-4 or a 2-2 or a backward number or a whatever,
Hmm.
2020 or whatever it may be, then at that point you can visualize your perfect outcome and to take yourself along that line, or your future self can extend a hand to your current self and guide you along the perfect timeline or choice to
Yeah.
get to your perfect outcome.
Yes.
So that's the way that I see it, because I see us, it's all moving along I don't believe in linear time. I believe in spirals of
Right.
time.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Me
and,
too.
and I know that we can, quantum is overtaken, boring old school physics now. Quantum and string is the
Mhm.
way we're going, right?
Sure.
So
Sure.
there are many options, and if we choose to go down one that is the hardest one, then we can do that. But we're still going to go home
Sure.
eventually.
Sure.
But it will be a much tougher journey. So my visualization is to go down the line which is of least resistance, hopefully, and
Yeah.
but with the most for my highest good,
Yeah.
my soul's within my soul's remit and my soul agreement, and the Akash that I have connected with and agreed
Yes.
uh, to inform my soul so I can take back the best information that I can back to the light, because that's what we're all here for. That's
Sure.
ultimately
Sure.
what our souls are about.
Yes. And let's just put the word love right there, because that's what you're describing. You know.
With love and with back and going back to love, coming back to the heart.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. Love, compassion, mercy, kindness. What?
Joy.
Yes, joy, absolutely. And I love your story, your experience, honey, of this tremendous state of bliss. Joanne had a dream state last week like that as well, which was
Did she?
really, really significant, because she's also been processing, like we all have been, some of her deepest stuff. And I just want to say that. To me, I want to come back to what you're saying here, but I just want to share here that the planetary healing crisis that we've entered into, that we're conscious of now, that everyone is dealing with, as we were saying before we got on here, is this choice between fear and love. And when we don't have information, or we feel like we're not safe with the information, or it feels overwhelming and threatening, and we feel powerless and all that, whatever we can do, like you're saying there, to get back to a place of peace, trust, gratitude, joy, bliss, happiness, anything that feels good, that is going to help to move the collective energy
Yeah.
back in the right direction, isn't it?
Yeah, because what's come in is the silver violet flame with Sanctuary, with Lady Portia, with the support that's happening, that's perhaps come through the portal of Hawaii yesterday. Perhaps it's happened yesterday, and perhaps this is going to be the help. And the guidance that we're getting is to bring that through our hearts, into our hearts, and to fill our hearts with that energy, to connect into Mother Earth and to bring that up to our heart space. So the meeting is in the heart. And then to use that silver violet flame to, to shoot out into, as a pulse, everything on the grids of the planet. And if we can pulse that out to everything that we see, touch, feel, hear, people we connect with, physically, emotionally, collectively, in any way that we can, to share our love and our passion with this cleansing of the violet, silver violet flame is what we're getting. That I'm getting, that is
Mhm.
more of a 4 or 5D version, an upgraded version of the Saint Germain uh, traditional violet flame,
Mhm. Mhm.
which is why I'm putting it out on all my social media at the moment about the
Right.
violet flame.
Right.
Yeah, and
Yes. You can see I've been doing that too. We did it a couple mornings ago. Yeah.
we're just speaking the same language, aren't we?
Sure. Sure.
Um,
But
so
can I just say, sorry, so that gives, what we want to do here, which is our joy, is give people tools and resources and ideas so they can start taking their power back and not feel so overwhelmed by everything.
And the other thing, yes, and the other thing was, imagine that you had, let's say in England, if I had £1,500 every month, I would be free to do all my needs would be met. I would have a roof over my head, I would have food in my cupboards, and I would have warmth, and that's pretty much, the clothing. That's all you need to survive. And if I had all my survival tools and needs met, what would then, think about, you guys out there, as well as Lou and I, what would you do? What would your passion be? What do you love? What's your creative love? If you had all your needs met and you didn't need to be on the hamster wheel,
Right. Right.
running around going, can I pay the bills? Can I, all of that stuff.
Right.
What would your passion be? What would you be sharing? Would it be gardening? Would it be crocheting? Would it
Right.
be cooking? Would it be healing? Would it be, what creative thing could you
Right.
do?
Yeah.
Would
Yeah.
share the
Yeah.
world?
Yeah.
Isn't that the way forward into the fifth?
Oh, absolutely, honey. Absolutely. No, I love this. This is great. I mean, this is, of course, Abraham's teachings and Michael Beckwith. Michael Beckwith would say, imagine what it's like that all your needs are met, and
Yes.
feel that,
Okay.
is it freedom? Is it security? Is it independence? Is it self-confidence? Is it a deeper connection to a loving higher power that cares about you that much? Whatever it is, let's both go there in this process, and let's also go there emotionally and hang out in the essence of that, 2 or 3 times during the day, when we're not wanting to just feed more fear and confusion and powerlessness. Let's go, okay, I'm going to take a break here and feel what it's like to know that all my needs are met, etc.
And try to remember what it is that your passion is.
Sure, sure. Well, you and I know what our passions are,
We
and no one has stopped us yet, and we're pretty passionate about these passions, which is wonderful. And we do get a lot of help. And I love what you're suggesting there. Are there any like colloidal silver has come back into my consciousness? Uh,
and gold and platinum and bronze.
oh, okay. So can we talk also for people who want more physical support? Any thoughts you have about that?
Look, I just happen to have, and I never do this. I've got my little supplement pot there.
Okay.
I think nutritionally, we need to look up, because remember, it's the first time that we've ever brought our bodies through the shift. And that's part of what my job here, Sarah Williams, has to do on this planet, is to help people bring their bodies through the shift, because it is unique. This is why all our galactic, our friends and the angels and the ascended ones, they're all with us now, because they're going, do you know what, guys? You are on this unique journey, and you are so brave, because we as souls, not only do we get to the front of the queue, but we're getting more brownie points, right? Because we've actually volunteered to be here to
Yeah.
bring a carbon-based vehicle through to a silica or diamond, frequency of light. So
Yes.
that's why creams together back in the
Yes.
mid-90s, because we have to bring the body through the shift. But in order to bring the body through the shift, we need to make sure that it's fairly healthy, not completely healthy, but fairly healthy. So we have to think about good, getting into nature and walking, getting a bit of exercise, not excessive if you don't want. We're tired right now, as we change, as we reboot, as we need to stop and things. But we need good nutrition, and I mean plant, all the stuff that everyone's saying, plant-based, you
Sure.
know, seasonal, locally grown, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Good in the right balance so that we can absorb it and so that, too much vitamin C. People are banging on about loads of vitamin C.
Yeah.
You're only going to
Process.
excrete out
Yeah.
what you don't need.
Yeah.
Um, and we have to have certain trace elements in order to be able to absorb it.
Sure.
We need balanced nutrition. We need to look at, I feel, gold, colloidal gold. Gold is coming in big time with the gold ray, with gold everywhere. It's a transmuter of energy. So colloidal gold, silver, platinum, and bronze. They
Wow.
all have different properties. I've got a whole, my daughter gifted me, bless her heart,
Right.
with a beach. And they're all sitting there out there and they all have these amazing properties.
Wow.
So you can do that, and they'll that with a bit of bicarbonate of soda and some citric acid in your cupboard, and you've basically got the cleaning fluids, but yourself, your home, your body, and good nourishment. So eating lightly, staying
Yeah.
away from anything with a face, eating eating what you feel like, eating lightly, eating. We're all changing our food habits, and I bang on about this all the time, so I'm not going to bore us with it now. But,
All right. No,
but,
that's
but
all good. When I channeled last night, Sarah, my guides just said anything green you can get into
yeah,
your body will help you enormously right now.
I'm also so into cauliflower. I have no idea
Great.
why.
Ah,
Um,
yeah,
but personal, and then another day I won't be able to eat it. So some days you feel like you really want to eat something, another day
sure,
you're,
sure.
you know what, I'm not up for that today.
Yeah,
So I think that anything that is happily grown, and we're being very guided to try, if we've got a tiny, like a pot, or if we're lucky enough to have a garden, to put some good soil down and to grow, even in a pot you can grow some courgettes or some cucumbers, right?
yes,
Zucchini. So
yeah.
you can to address,
I can speak both vegetables. Yeah.
you're amazing.
Well, thank you, thank you. But what I want to step into here, my friend, is um, that we, here's kind of what the message that came through last night, and you're saying it beautifully, as well. That everything we take for granted is now feeling shaky, and so we've often taken our health for granted. We want to bless our bodies. We want to eat good food and drink good water. We want to bless our food and bless our water. We want to
Yes,
give thanks for the
that's
water
right.
in our showers every day, and
Oh yeah.
bless that water. Your statement about your garden, which I've seen, and it is lovely, and you're a great man, Alan, there, and all his ponds and all that. It's so beautiful. We want to give thanks and bless Mother Earth, and not take her for granted. And to me, the word that has come to my mind a lot these days is alienation, where this virus emerged from China, and maybe it emerged from a market, and maybe animals were genetically influencing each other in some form or fashion. Who knows? Or it was a lab or whatever it might be. But there's this sense of like, the invisible things of life are not necessarily my friends, and that's a very alienated state to walk around in the world. Or these other people are a source of my unsafety suddenly. So we want to bless the Chinese people. We want to bless the doctors around the world and the nurses who are taking care of all the sick people, and the scientists. We want to bless Mother Earth. We want to bless the things that we've taken for granted. That's just my take on that.
I think saying prayer over everything, I think that it just raises the vibration of everything that we ingest. Even if you are still eating fish or something, if you can bless the energy of the body,
Sure.
from, and I even say a prayer over the broccoli that comes out of my garden, because there are creatures in the broccoli. The plant is alive. It's all given up its life for my
Yes.
sustenance, my body. I'm grateful, and I want to just say a prayer over everything of gratitude.
Yes.
We're grateful at all times for everything, and
Yeah.
that raises vibrational and
Yeah.
vibrates energy, active love. And if you walk through your shopping centre or your, post office, or your wherever you are,
Hmm.
then you can vibrate out a frequency of love. And people have no idea what it is that that you're actually doing, but they quite often, I can be in the queue at the post office, and people, when I cleanse my bubble and do my clearance,
Yeah.
and they turn around and they look and they smile. And in England, that's unusual. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe in another part of the world where that is normal, but like in in Mexico or China, or
Right.
wherever.
Right.
In England, people do not smile at each other, unless they assume that someone is a crazy person. So even in this, why is she talking to me? This is crazy. Don't talk to me. You're a
Right.
weird person.
Right. Right.
So just by sending out a vibration of love, they don't
Yes.
even realize what you've done.
Yes, yes, bless you. Yeah, I mean, my favorite quote, honey, is Abraham, who says, "The terrible price we're asking you to pay is a happy journey on the way to everything you want." You know, and it's like we can live in loneliness and pain and fear and lack and struggle, which feels terrible and it's awful and scary and it's unbearable. Or we can love ourselves and each other, bless ourselves and each other, and seek that passion and that inspiration that we're talking about here.
And the other thing is that if we are clearing the cache, clearing out like the last bits, the last remnants of karma and fear. And time, by the way, is doing this, isn't it? Because some days you've got loads of time, and other times you've got no time at all, it seems. So
Sure.
karma, obviously, it doesn't even exist in any other frequency or on any other planet I'm aware of. It's only this planet that's
Sure.
still wearing watches. Um, s- so the time is very different. But if we're clearing this cache, then even people like you and I, who do a lot of residing in 5D, the place of love, bliss, joy, instant manifestation, bilocation, telepathy, peace, just the most idyllic, tranquil, glorious place, which I have experienced and do experience. Um, I'm still dragged into the fourth and to clear my cache. I wouldn't still have like a few aches and pains in my body and a few fears every now and again if I was completely residing in the fifth dimension.
Yeah.
There is no fear allowed in the fifth. It doesn't exist in the fifth dimension.
Right. So, do we call upon our guides? This is kind of what I was thinking we might come to here. How we call upon our guides, how we center ourselves, the things that we do every day to quiet our minds and open our hearts.
I call in my angels, my guides.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I'm asking for currently Archangel Michael with his sword, clear away any karmic attachments, or any miasms, or the Elohim coming in as well. So the angelic realms. I'm calling in the ascended masters, and yes, I'll burn sage, when necessary,
Sure.
and use all cleansing tools. Um, and also, for my cosmic guides, my galactic guides of the light, to ask them to come in and to support me in my
Yes.
moment. And the darkest hour is just before dawn.
Sure.
We
Sure.
gotta remember this on every level.
Yes.
We're in the darkest hour, and it's just like being just before dawn. And we know that a beautiful, sunny, rainbow-filled day can be outside of the darkest bit, the last throes of the fear-based matrix that we're stepping away from. Um, we're being triggered, and I just ask my guidance team to help me to get through that part.
Sure. Sure. Yes. Yes. That's brilliant. And you said that beautifully. Tell people who the Elohim are.
The Elohim. Well, in my understanding, they are here to help us with. Now, I don't quote me on this. I'm not an angelic
Okay.
um, uh, person. I'm no expert. I work a lot more with Christic galactics and
Okay.
ground. I have worked with the angels and the archangels and the ascended masters. I do work with them, and I ground a lot of it shamanically through the Moonai Key. and called in the directions of the power animals and all of that. I'm not an expert in the angelic realm.
Okay. All right.
Understand that they are here to help us and also to help us clear some of the miasms, the ancestral lines, and any codes that perhaps we are clearing
Sure.
for our ancestral lines. I don't believe that we need to hook into the DNA. Just because your father had a heart issue doesn't mean to say that you have to. It
Sure.
just means you need to learn lessons from what your dad taught you and didn't
Sure.
didn't,
Sure.
didn't teach you. So um,
Okay.
I just believe it's another and other people I think are going to be better versed at explaining
Sure,
that
I
one.
agree. No, that's good. Yeah, to my mind, they're the creator angels. That's for some reason. That's what I have in my head about that. And I'm a student of all this as much as you are, my friend. Absolutely. What I want to say here also is, of course, and you and I know this, from our own experience and all the clients that we've been blessed to work with, that a spiritual crisis is the shout where we didn't listen to the whispers,
Yeah,
where we've been, like Carl Jung says, what we deny within us has to come at us as fate. So
yeah.
the message that my guides channeled, and I hear this from a lot of teachers, is and to meditate on this for all of us, myself included. What is it that this healing crisis is allowing me to look at or acknowledge or take responsibility for or heal or forgive that I couldn't allow in an easier way? Why is this come around in my reality right now? What's the gift of this? And we may get one answer, another answer. You're giving great suggestions here for all of us to work with. And I just want to kind of really put that in front of people, that there's, no matter what it is, a car accident, a cancer diagnosis, the loss of a loved one, your dog getting sick in the middle of the night, etc., whatever it is, there's like some opportunity here that I didn't allow in a simpler, easier way, that now I'm being asked to rise to this challenge, And if we can move from feeling powerless, overwhelmed, fearful, and victimized, or potentially victims, and go, okay, I'm going to do what I can do, and I'm going to educate myself, and I'm going to center myself, then, as we're in peace, then spirit can work with us and through us, isn't it?
We love the cleansing, fields of the Ho'oponopono. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. We love the opportunity for the thing that comes in every time, and I've been teaching this in the Raise Your Vibration courses for the past
Yeah.
25 or 20 years. It's not what happens, it's how we choose to respond, and that's the only. And we know that as a quote, but that's the only control that we have.
That's
Is
right.
how we choose to respond.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me, that was gorgeous, honey. And I'm so glad you said that. This is the quote from my guides. It's in one of the books there. They say, you're only responsible for something you understand. But
Yeah.
once you understand it, then you become responsible for it. And the degree to which you take responsibility for it is your degree of understanding of it.
And to be able to forgive yourself for not knowing more, I mean, there are so many things that I feel I'm really personally, I've done a lot of cleansing work over the last 25 years.
Yes, sweetheart.
But I'm still releasing loads of stuff. So,
Sure.
and
Same.
when I think to myself, okay, I've got guilt around something, the way that I didn't handle something in the way that I could have done. But then I have to forgive myself. My daughter often reminds me, you did the best you could with what you had at the time.
Yes.
I sometimes say to her, God, I could have been a much better parent if I'd known more then. And she's like, but you did the best you could.
That's
And I
exactly right.
remember you doing that. I just remember you doing the best you could.
Yeah.
And we can learn a lot from our children.
Oh God, yes. Well, that's right. Insanity is inherited. You get it from your children. That's the one I like.
I think I got a lot from my parents too.
I'm sure we all did. We all did.
We're all here to teach and
Yeah,
learn.
yeah. No, of course, we're all in the same classroom. We're all teachers and students of really the same ideas. And to the degree that we are willing to keep learning them, to that degree, we're of use to others.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And the other thing that just you triggered me there
Yes.
to say this is to never put anyone on a pedestal.
Right. 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 There's all
We're all
this.
the same.
Yes. Yes. Yogi Bhajan, John of God. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we're all equally the same. We're just doing the best we can. So,
Yeah.
you know, you and I've been guilty of this in the past, but if we put someone on a pedestal, there's only one way, and they can just fall off it. And then then you feel an emotion around the fact that they've fallen off it. But then for me, I just need to then realize that it was my fault for putting them up there in the first place, you know?
Sure, sure. Well, it's no, this is a very deep truth for all human beings. And, yeah, I've struggled with all this. Of course I have, because everyone does. And it's like, it's a resistance. It's an unwillingness to love and accept ourselves. That's why we deify some people and crucify others. And I think that um, this is the message of the masks falling off of false idols and false prophets.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You know, and oh God, how do I even follow
Well,
that?
well, do you know Matt Kahn?
Yes, I
So,
love. Well, actually, just quickly,
all right.
Matt Ration used to grate with me. I couldn't cope with his voice for years,
Okay.
uh, and his some of his personality traits that I used to get from the screen. I used to think, oh, I can't listen to this guy. And suddenly, it's making a lot of sense. And suddenly, you know, because he's Palladian, right? So I believe.
Yes,
Uh,
yes,
so suddenly, you know, I'm able to hear his frequency.
yes. Well, that's brilliant. I've only heard him in bits and pieces, but I do like his energy and his message. He said he came up with his new talk is called Facing Uncertainty, which is about all of this. And he came up with this new term. He said, gas light workers.
Oh yes, gaslighting. Oh my God, there's another whole thing there around gaslighting and
Yeah,
narcissism.
yeah,
That, yeah, totally.
yeah.
Have you also noticed the amount of, and I certainly have, but the amount of inappropriate diagnoses that people are receiving around the nervous system and cancer, and of course this viral thing, which is a smokescreen, by the way, but also the misdiagnoses, because you know a lot of my clients and are very very well trained doctors. I mean, you know, really doctors, nurses, you
Yeah,
know, health workers, etc.
yeah,
And people that are really up there, like in charge of like major departments in hospitals, major
right.
departments, multiple major departments, and they say, I'm saying to them, you must be so busy, you know, with so many people turning up. And this one particular doctor that's in my head, she said, you know, she's very well trained.
Yeah,
And she said, do you know what, Sarah? They're turning up and they're the people that haven't looked after their bodies, and they're getting angry with me because I don't know what's wrong with them. I can't diagnose it. So there are, you know, 5 or 6 drugs that the medical profession can give to people, and then the drugs that offload off that counteract the side effects of the drugs that they've just been given, statins, you know, all of that, you know.
yeah. Side effect are as long as your arm, the list. Yeah,
Don't even go there, you know.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
The healthy, you know, we know the good things: the healthy diet, the healthy nutrition, the love of the self, the plant-based stuff, the stuff that nature gives us, the prayer, the meditation, you know, getting into nature, all of that.
Yeah,
That's the would take responsibility
yeah,
for you.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But when they can't diagnose it, then you know we realise that the hospital workers, poor people, are actually really really overwhelmed with trying to look after queues and queues and queues of people, and they're being given kind of just a diagnosis which often proves to be incorrect.
Well, it's not just physical, is it? As you and I know, it's emotional and spiritual, and you can't go to the hardware store and buy milk. You know.
No, and mental too. So
Yeah,
we're talking about, you know, with the shamanic work that I do, we look at the spiritual body, dripping down like Russian nesting dolls into the mental body where we overthink stuff, dripping down into the emotional body where we feel stuff, and dripping down into the physical carbon-based structure, which is changing to silicon and diamond, where we actually, exhibit stuff. So, we have to address each of these bodies in turn before we heal this vehicle and bring it through.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's really, really important to make a
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
self.
Yeah, sorry. No, I would just jump in at the bit here. I mean, I quite agree with you. And, I just want my strong sense intuitively is this is, as we were chatting about before, this is the moment we've been preparing for throughout this lifetime. And what I was hearing in my meditation before all this happened in the last many months is the work that you've been doing now the world is going to need to do, like we're saying here about healing the shadow and having forgiveness, compassion, acceptance, love, mercy for ourselves, and opening our hearts to each other. And yeah, I just feel like all of that, the Western model is just going to move aside for what really actually heals people and helps people and works.
Everyone's feeling so much compassion, and when you look at things like the fires in Australia and the purging and the horrible, horrible things that are around the world, the good side of that is, of course, we feel our love and our compassion goes out to the individual souls that have offered themselves for this journey, and to bring up the overwhelming sense of oneness that what I see is a whole sense of love and unity and coming together to help these situations. And for me, that is just amazing. Because out of every heavy situation, and also the animals, my God, the animals are bringing up, they're the Achilles heel for many of us. You may not necessarily love another human being the way that you love an animal. Some people don't have that, obviously.
Sure.
But,
no, I mean, you're quite right. And people's love for animals, just like our love for kids and our love for the beauty of nature, is quite profound and quite a lot deeper for a lot of people than love for other people is.
And every tear out is a toxin out.
Good to
That's
know.
what our therapist keeps telling me. She says to me, "I want howling," and I'm like, "I can't howl." She's like, "I want howling." Allow that out. And the amount of people who are being diagnosed with things like pneumonia, pleurisy, lung-related disorders, asthmatics, that's about unshed tears when we work with psychoneuroimmunology, mind connection.
Sure.
And another friend of mine, very spiritual, she'd just been diagnosed the third out of recently with pneumonia. Now, unshed tears. These people who are so stoic, who are so like, no, I'm fine, I'll deal with everyone else first before me, the most loving, beautiful being that have let it out. As an
I know, darling. I mean, I live with my housemate who's a therapist and does the family constellation work. And I've done just under 40 one-day workshops in the time that I've lived here. And many of those were just a river of tears, whether they were literally, because you stand in for other people, you're someone's son or husband or grandfather or unborn baby or whatever you might be. And, the healing is through the feelings, and yeah, no, I believe me, I hear you. And it sounds like you have a wonderful therapist there as well, which is lovely. He's been a guiding light for me with my journey here, also a real rock. So yeah, we're very blessed to have these people.
Somebody else I heard recently say this, it's not my quote, but I love it. The issue is in the tissue.
Yeah, I like that too. Well, and I say feelings are healings. That's my quote as well.
Yeah, and tears are so amazing.
Well, what do we do? Let's wrap it up here for another episode of the Sarah and Lou hour. Is there anything you want to say that you haven't put out there to people yet?
Not really. I'm doing one-to-ones. You and I both do one-to-one sessions. And of course, you know, my cream's going out there, and I still go out and do some shows and events and things. But yeah, definitely available for one-to-one, Skype, FaceTime, you know, WhatsApp, you name it. With,
Yeah,
you know, I'm still more into technology. As far as and that's the, you know, the personal stuff. But as a unity consciousness, um, we're all feeling frightened at different moments. We're all feeling fears. We need to keep trying to remember to come back to bring in those things that we were talking about earlier. Bring in your angels, bring in your guides, ask for some help, ask for some healing. They will be there for us if we ask. And we need to keep remembering that we are not alone. We
sure.
are not alone. We've always got a team around us.
Yes, yes.
Um, are always supported. And actually, you know what, we signed up for this journey, so we've got the tools.
That's right. That's right. There are no victims, only volunteers.
Here we are.
There we go. Brilliant. All right. Love you, darling. Thank you so much. It's always a joy to reconnect. Thank you for all your friendship and kindness. And I'll talk
Uh,
to you again soon.
Absolutely, Lou. Have a
Okay.
great
My best to Al and your puppy dog. Yeah.
and to Joanne and everyone else. Love
Thank
you.
you.
Take care. Bye for now.
Bye for now.